From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Obon Osoro. Our quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, Akure Zone, has accused the federal government of misrepresenting the status of negotiations with the union, adding that the newly established universities are mere crisis centers. Addressing journalists on the campus of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, the ASU Akure Zonal Coordinator, Professor Adeola Ebegduko, said despite the 7-year moratorium placed by the federal government on the establishment of new universities, it still went ahead to announce new institutions. The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to take immediate action to tackle the worsening erosion disaster in Osok community in Ekori/Anoko Ward, Odukpani local government area of Cross River State, which has already displaced families, destroyed lives and properties. Global Television correspondent Aniete Patrick brings the report.
The cries for help are growing louder in the coastal community of Ekori and Naku Ward, Odukpani local government area in Cross River State, where advancing soil erosion and landslides have continued to wash away homes, farmlands, and even natural streams that once sustained residents. A member representing Calabar Municipal Odukpani Federal Constituency, Akiba Basi, raised the motion of urgent public importance, drawing attention to what he described as a looming humanitarian and environmental disaster. Lawmakers expressed concern that despite repeated appeals from the village head and residents, the community has yet to receive any of government intervention.
The House also resolved that to mandate the Committee on Environment and National Emergency Management Agency to visit the affected area, engage stakeholders and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
The motion, which received unanimous support on the floor, urged the Federal Ministry of Environment and the Ecological Fund Office to immediately assess the level of damage and include the community in its intervention programs. In another development, the House of Representatives underscored the need for the federal government to reduce the price of fertilizer and other farm inputs. The resolution was passed following the adoption of a motion sponsored by Yusuf Galambi, who expressed grave concern over the hike in the price of fertilizer. In his lead debate, Galambi explained that farming is vital for food security and economic growth, which relies heavily on fertilizers and other farm inputs for its sustenance.
Federal government has taken steps towards regulating food prices, but the price of food in the market is not standing alone because it is a combination of other factors with fertilizer and other farm inputs.
To this end, the lawmakers urged the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to do everything possible to reduce the price of fertilizer and other farm inputs. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
About vote buying continues to dominate conversations as Nigeria ages closer to future elections. Many citizens say the practice is now more reserved and needs urgent attention. Global Television correspondent Zara Naze reports on growing public frustration and calls for stronger action.
Vote buying is an election campaign violation that occurs in many countries, which undermines the integrity of electoral processes and is detrimental to democratic governance.
On the streets of Abuja, Nigerians are voicing their worry over the rising trend of vote buying. To many, it is no longer a hidden practice but an open transaction that places personal gain above national interest. Those who spoke to Global TV described the act as a deliberate attempt by politicians to exploit citizens' economic challenges for selfish political advantage. They are urging voters to understand their rights, resist inducements, and protect the value of their votes.
The problem we have is we, the poor masses, or we, the people, we don't know even our rights. Because if I know my rights, you can't buy my vote. As a youth, sometimes hunger. We forget what will happen next than what will just happen now.
Stopping it, well, it depends. Nigerian politics is one politics that we don't know how to fix it. But the politicians, they know what to do about this. They should stop vote buying and let's be civil in whatever thing we are doing.
Our politicians are the most selfish set of people. And I don't think in the nearest future they will be willing to change. It's an attitudinal thing.
James Ugochukwu, Regional Executive General Secretary of the West African Civil Society Forum, says the persistence of vote buying is tied to poverty and worsening economic hardship. He explains that unless citizens are properly sensitized, especially at the grassroots, vote buying will continue to thrive.
Because a lot of Nigeria actually this depraved. If they know that they can get money that can buy them food for that particular day, or can even give them food for some couple of days, they will be susceptible to that kind of vote buying.
He also emphasized that security agencies must remain neutral and courageous enough to go after anyone involved in the act. According to him, credible elections cannot be achieved if law enforcement is compromised or selective in its operations. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dumebi Kachukwu, has called on Nigerians to support the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory in his drive to rid the FCT of land grabbing and illegal land takeover. The report.
The 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Dumebi Kachukwu, criticized the attacks directed at the minister, describing them as unfair and dangerous for the rule of law. He says defending illegalities must not be encouraged.
They finally believe they have the minister where they want him, defenseless. Today, I weep for Nigeria because we are becoming a nation of people fueled by hate of anything government. The righteous indignation of this vocal minority calling for the minister's head is simply unacceptable to any right-thinking person.
According to him, if the same actions were taken by another minister, the public reaction would not be this intense, raising questions about whether the backlash is truly about justice or driven by personal sentiment. He also faulted the minister's colleagues for failing to publicly support him during the controversy and urged President Bola Tinubu to take a clear stand on the matter.
The narrative would have been different if a different minister was involved in this drama. Absolutely yes. We will all see the fact that the minister was provoked into calling the officer a fool, and the officer was also provoked into calling police officers bloody policemen.
He added that if the minister does not receive the needed political backing, he should consider resigning rather than presiding over a system that undermines law and order. Ubong.
It was an atmosphere of nostalgia, laughter, and heartfelt connection as the Federal Government Girls College, FGGC, Owerri, Old Girls Association class of 1980, fondly called the Vivacious Icons, held their grand reunion and anniversary celebration in Abuja. The event, which brought together accomplished women from various parts of Nigeria and abroad, was more than just a reunion. It was a celebration of friendship, resilience, and shared memories built over 4 decades within the walls of the FGGC Owerri. Global Television's correspondent Ugochukwu Mobuno completes the report.
It was a colorful homecoming for proud alumni of FGGC Owerri, class of 1980, who converged to mark the 45th anniversary since graduating from one of Nigeria's foremost unity schools. The class of 1980, who are fondly called Vivacious Icons, celebrated the legacy of the college in shaping accomplished women in leadership, education, public service, and enterprise across the country and beyond. The president of the Old Girls Association class of 1980, Carol Alex Uzoma, described the reunion as a moment of gratitude and rededication to the values of discipline, unity, and excellence that define the FGGC spirit.
We are here for our global reunion. Our girls are coming from all over the world for our shared memories, for what we hold there, for what Federal Government Girls College did to us, built us up, that we are proud citizens of Nigeria, proud Nigerians. When we think of Nigeria, we represent Nigeria.
Some of the old girls class of 1980 women took turns to reintroduce themselves to express how they feel about the reunion.
Whatever you see today, the woman I have become, the foundation started in FGDC. That I cannot take away. Wow, I give credit to my alma mater. What I am today is actually what I gained from my alma mater, the foundation of my education, the foundation of my career as a corporate person, and the woman I am today. I actually benefited from that, from my alma mater.
The events include sharing fond memories, plans for their upcoming election as it ends with joy and celebration. With 45 years behind them, the old girls of Federal Government Girls College class of 1980 says their mission continues to inspire the next generation of women leaders and to preserve the proud heritage of the FGGC family. Ogochukwu Mobono reporting for Global Television News.
Broadcast of AM News. When AM News returns, House of Representatives approve budget push for Noga Stadium. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, the National Pension Commission is renewing efforts to expand pension coverage across Nigeria with a new plan designed to bring millions of informal workers into the retirement service system. At the Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria's annual conference in Abuja, PENCOM outlined a strategy to capture nearly 80 million Nigerians through its revamped personal pension plan. Business correspondent Kikelo Mokere takes it from here.
For years, Nigerians' pension coverage has remained heavily skewed towards the formal sector, leaving a vast majority of workers, artisans, traders, farmers, and freelancers without any structure for retirement. Speaking at the annual conference of the Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Abuja, the Director General of PENCOM, Omolola Oloworanran, who was represented by the Head of Corporate Communication at PENCOM, Ibrahim Buwai, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian, regardless of employment status, can look forward to secure retirement. She noted that Nigerian workforce is largely informal, yet this group remains severely undercovered.
Today, we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian, whether formally employed or not, has the opportunity for a secure and dignified old age.
PENCOM says the new pension plan came from the need to redesign the old micro-pension scheme and make it more flexible, data and inclusive, ensuring that people with irregular incomes can register easily and contribute at their own pace, noting that the new framework offers simplified registration, mobile-based contribution channels, and flexible saving options. PENCOM believes this innovation will encourage millions who previously saw pension as complicated or inaccessible to come on board.
What the personal pension plan has done is that it now brings even the voluntary contributions segment that the formal sector employees hitherto made under the formal CPS. Those contributions will now be captured under the personal pension plan. And the idea really is to offer more flexibility.
Earlier, the President, Pension Correspondents Association of Nigeria, Nana Musa says there is need for public awareness, trust building, and technology-driven systems to deepen participation nationwide. Musa commended ongoing reform but insists that only sustained engagement, education, and policy support will convince millions of informal workers to embrace pension savings.
Dedicated to deepening public understanding of pension matters, we believe in closing this gap is central to achieving sustainable social security, reducing poverty, and promoting inclusive growth.
With the new plans, pension hopes to grow long-term savings, strengthen financial inclusion, and secure the future of millions of Nigerians who currently have no retirement support structure. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
On the foreign scene, Ukraine's ambassador to South Africa, Alexander Shebashe, has urged South Africans to not get involved in Russia's invasion, saying in an interview that 17 men were tricked into joining mercenary forces. The South African government last week has said it has received what it described as a distress call from the men who were trapped in the epicenter of the fighting in Ukraine's Donbas region, begging to bring them home. Over to Agbomovuekwe for details.
South African presidency said the men aged 20 to 39 were lured into joining mercenary forces on the pretext of lucrative employment contracts without saying which side they were fighting for. However, local media outlet News 24 and Kiev both said they were on the Russian side. There is a legal dimension to the situation. It is illegal for South Africans to join foreign armies unless authorized by the government.
They have been recruited in violation of South African law, which I would imagine would be something that South African government would like to talk about with the Russian government. And by the way, if it's true that some of South African politicians were involved, then it makes the whole situation even more precarious.
The war, running for well over 3 years, has dealt a devastating blow to Russia and Ukraine, even though some analysts estimate that Kiev is on the receiving end.
Both sides are bleeding. Both sides are losing people. So Ukraine's position in this at this point of this war, with the front line not moving one way or another, just let's stop where we fight.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered an investigation into the recruitment of South African men as mercenaries after News 24 claimed that the men were sent to Russia by the MK party of former President Jacob Zuma for security training. Uyi Agbomovuekwe, reporting for Global TV News.
The Confederation of African Football and the AFCON Morocco 2025 Local Organizing Committee has announced that fans traveling to the tournament will be eligible for free electronic visas. The governing body said the announcement comes amid growing global demand for Africa's biggest football events more than ever, with more fans booking tickets. The policy benefits citizens of countries that normally require a visa to enter Morocco. The National Assembly says it will ensure that key Nigerian University Games Association (NOGA) projects, including the proposed sports stadium for the 2025 Games in Jos, are captured in the federal budget. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, gave the assurance during a visit by the NOGA delegation to the National Assembly in Abuja. Anieta Patrick completes the story.
Receiving the NOGA leadership on behalf of the Speaker, Chairman of the House Committee on Sports, Kabir Ahmadu said the legislature is fully committed to strengthening sports development across Nigerian universities. He assured that the Speaker has already taken note of the ongoing and proposed NOGA projects, especially the stadium development plan for the University of Jos, and will work to ensure they are provided for in the national budget. Ahmadu added that the House Committee on Sports is targeting a system whereby 2026, every Nigerian university will have a functional sports complex or mini stadium capable of hosting international competitions.
I want to assure you that from the Speaker's office up to the Committee of Sports, you have our sport 100%. 100%. For this 2026 budget, I assure you that from the office of the Speaker and also from the committee, we'll definitely going to accommodate some of your projects in this 2026 budget.
Leader of the NUGA delegation, Goshen Obed, said their visits aimed to deepen collaboration ahead of the 27th edition of the Games at the University of Jos. Obed said NUGA is seeking the National Assembly support to complete outstanding projects valued at 13 billion naira to enable the university host international standard competitions.
University of Jos, they are setting a pace in sporting activities in the country. They are building state-of-the-art facilities that can host any international tournament. They intend to leave a legacy projects after the NUGA Games. They will leave the games. Some of the games are ongoing in the facility, some are not completed, so they're using other facilities within the state. It may interest you to know that the main ball is being upgraded. There's a new hockey pitch, cricket pitch, and 10-lane Olympic-style swimming pool, which is being built.
Meanwhile, 91 universities are currently participating with several key facilities, including hockey, cricket, and indoor sports halls already completed, while others remain under construction. Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
News this morning. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms down showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ubong Musoro. I'll see you very soon.